Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, whether you recognize me or not. Just a little bit dressed up today. Got my suit on. Got a couple new things. And hoping that I need these things for multiple reasons, not just the court dates that I have coming up, but possibly for job interviews down the road. Interviews, etc. But the reality is, this suit could be for my funeral too. It's really hard to say. I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. As a targeted individual, that's really all you can do. Everything in your life goes haywire, and you just have to keep moving on and have faith that somebody's looking out for you, whether it's God, good guys in the intel agencies, people that people are willing to actually research what's going on with you, and put their life at risk to do the right thing. I've been listening to Q Anonymous, and you know, unless this guy's a psychic, which I don't think he is. He's just got probably the highest clearance. I have to say probably, but part of his name tells me that he does. And he's putting some information out. They. I shouldn't even say he. I'm picturing a guy. It could be a woman. A very smart individual with high integrity. What this person is doing could get them murdered. Could get them put in Guantanamo Bay forever. And they're doing what they need to do because no one would do this for fame, just to get attention. You might never know who this person is unless a lot of things change, and you know, we go back to a free country where these people will be regarded as heroes and not traitors. And when Edward Snowden was first arrested, when Edward Snowden first put the information out that he did to let every American know that they are being illegally surveilled under FISA 702, or under the FISA Act, or the NSA is got complete control over everyone. Sorry, I had a highway patrol pull up next to me. Just now, kind of keep an eye on him. Got pulled over yesterday because I had my brights on during the day, so that was a good distraction. Anyway, when Edward Snowden first put this information out, Chelsea Manning released a bunch of documents. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody had any clue, had any idea that, well, the person that's probably looking through my camera right now could see through your camera, your mom's camera, the rest of your family, your children have access to your Facebook page, even if you have a group of friends that is a closed group, your Twitter account, your email. They can watch anything that you're looking at online. If you look up some some adult stuff, they're watching you do that. And they're not actively watching every single American. They're picking and choosing who they want to look at, and these people aren't always domestic terrorists or a threat. They're people that they just want to look at because it's fun for them, or whatever reason they have that they talk themselves into thinking it's okay to do that. And if you haven't seen the movie Snowden, that's not a make-believe movie somebody just thought up, like L. Ron Hubbard thought up Scientology. These are facts. There's proof, and more people are coming out talking about this. Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, Kirk Wiebe, William Binney, Karen Milton Stewart. Those are the ones that I know of the most that have really put their life on the line and are going through some really horrible programs. When I say programs, I'm not talking about a program where you... When I say a program, this is a takedown program, a slow kill program of antagonization terror. They do not want me talking about this. They don't want those people talking about this. But enough of them, and there's a lot more too, and there's a lot more on the fence right now that are working in these intel agencies. There's 17 of them. DOD, DOJ, NSA, FBI, CIA, DIA, etc. 17 of them. There's some people that are living really well. They're making money from this. They have hidden contracts. Some aren't even on contracts. I don't believe. But if it's classified information, there's got to be a paper trail, some kind of electronic trail of a lot of this, and that's what's happened with the information that these people have put out through WikiLeaks. Julian Assange is trying to get his freedom back today. Actually, I need to check on that when I get home. And a lot of people will tell you these people are treasonous traitors to the United States of America, and that is absolutely backwards from reality. Some people's lives could be put into jeopardy because of this, but not because they're trying to track some Russian spy or save the world like Jack Bauer. It's because the positions that they have put people into, literally and figuratively, have cost thousands of lives. And the American public is getting fucking tired of it. They've tried to turn this country into a communist country. They've taken down entire cities. Chicago didn't go downhill on accident. Detroit didn't go downhill on accident. California is not going down on accident. If you visited any of these places within the last couple of years, it looks like a war zone. California is not quite a war zone. Central California, Central Valley, up to about Redding, is there's chaos going on there. People living in tents for miles and miles and miles and miles. Chicago's falling down around itself. The buildings look like they've been mortared. Detroit has been destroyed. And President Trump, who I hope is doing what it looks like he is doing, knows what's going on, and he's not okay with it. He can see further in the future than a lot of people. When I say see in the future, he's not reading a crystal ball. He's not going to a mind reader. He's not doing any of these things. He's a non-linear thinker. He's not perfect. There's some things that he does that I'm not really okay with. But there's just a few things. You know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to agree on every issue. But what he's doing is trying to get the American public to realize we've been sabotaged. And when you try to go after the kind of people that will do these kind of things, the kind of people that will set up 9/11, the kind of people that will actively participate in this FISA terror program, going after patriots, Those people are not going to take kindly to that. If they'll hit 9/11 and blow up Tower 7, killing off me or any of these other people would just be fun to them. You know, they don't have a conscience. Psychopathic narcissists. And while I was shopping just now, I'd go get a couple things, like I was talking about. I talked to a couple younger people, and I was explaining some of this to them, and I feel bad explaining some of this stuff to young, smart people, but it's their duty living in this country to research these things and to talk about it with their friends, family, classmates, etc. You know, some of these people I talked to look like they were in college, and I hope they were, and I hope that they research this, and I hope that the word gets out in their colleges, because their colleges, some of them, not all of them, there's all different types of learning curriculum, different agendas that colleges have, but for the most part, a lot of these colleges have become super liberal. Nothing conservative will fly. You'll be harassed. You'll be blacklisted if you go against the status quo. But these people need to know this, that they're being duped. They're being wrangled into a situation similar to Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, where everybody's viewed as a different layer of society, and it goes all the way up to from the elites all the way down to the trash, and that's how they look at it, not what I'm saying. And they put people into categories like animals and judge their worth not only on, well, first of all, it isn't our government's job to judge an individual and put them into any kind of program or category of society because of their views or opinions. It's supposed to be judged by the law, and that law is not supposed to be manipulated in order to go after a political enemy. And it has been. People have been set up for crimes. They've been called pedophile. They've had pedophilia put on their computers, had their door kicked in. They had no idea that was there, and they're in jail for being a pedophile. They're murdered. They're driven to suicide. They are character assassinated. And they're dealt with in a very covert way that a lot of people that will never make it to the mainstream media. When I say never, it could be. I hope not, but I think a lot of the general public, I don't know if they'd be ready to take in this much information. And there's a lot of people that have become involved in this that are employed through FISA 702, 1233, through community watch groups. You know, they're trying to keep the community safe, and they're told that these people are all these bad things. So a lot of people, without knowing the entire situation, might think they're doing a good thing. So we can only hope and pray that the proper information continues to be released, like QAnon has been doing, and the people that are responsible for a lot of this will just keep resigning, keep stepping down, being fired, being held responsible for what they've done, and manipulating people's lives, trying to make them look uncredible. Not incredible. Non-credible, I guess, would be the word. So if this keeps happening, and Executive Order 13818 is followed through with, there is going to be, hopefully not, we don't want a war, but there will be some chaos. There already is. A lot of it's hidden. A lot of these people will speak in code, and you know, it's very down low. A lot of people that are involved in this have top secret clearances, either from their military history, or they've obtained one through one of these watch groups, such as Operation or Project Cat Eyes, which is one that I found on the FOIA website. When you make a FOIA request for information for yourself or any kind of government activity, freedom of information. That program is advertised through that website on how to become a community watch operative. I don't know what they call them. I don't get invited to the meetings. But there's a lot of people who become involved in this. And I hope the more that comes out, the more memos that are released, the more information that becomes available to the general public, this will change. Anything in the government or military takes a long time to change. There's a big transition period. It's kind of, I think of it like how the ocean changes temperature. You know, during winter, the ocean doesn't just turn cold. It takes a long time because it's so big. So a lot of the times in the summer, the water will be colder than it is in the winter. It just feels colder when you're getting in it because of the wind chill factor. That's kind of how the government and military, any large corporation that has hundreds of thousands of employees, how that operates. Any changes take a while to transpire. And as much as I'm hoping that this isn't the situation, I want things to change tomorrow. Literally, for me, I'm facing some charges, actually. I've talked about a couple of my videos. I've been posting on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I'm facing some charges from some of these nefarious people that have literally put me into this position. I've taken responsibility for everything I've done my entire life, and I've always stood up for myself and told the truth. This time, they put me into a situation that was completely out of my control. And I'm not going to get into the specifics of how they did this because there's a lot of technology, a lot of brainwashing, a lot of manipulation by large groups of people organized with a goal in mind. And I'm only one person. I don't know if I'm going to be able to work my way through this. I don't feel like I don't know if I'm getting the proper guidance through the attorney I hired. I've asked a lot of questions, and it seems like, you know, they've handled a lot of big cases, federal cases, big stuff, murders, things that would put people away for life. And mine is an aggravated assault charge. I can say that because it's online. My horrible mugshot is online, and you can check that out. That's public information. So, but they charged me with aggravated assault, and I haven't assaulted anybody. Maybe verbally, as I was getting stalked. Yelled at a few people that deserved it, sending their kids running behind people's cars, using their kids as actors for a psyop, psychological operations. This is psychological warfare. It's much more than surveillance. This is not surveillance. It's gang stalking. And gang stalking is just the new word for persecution. Jesus Christ was, I'm not trying to preach to anyone, you know, I don't have the Bible memorized, and I'm not one of those people that tries to get everybody to think the way I do. And, you know, I still have questions about a lot of that too. But Jesus Christ was one of the original targeted individuals. He was one of the first people that were gang stalked, but back then they called it persecuted. And if you are a religious person, or if you are a spiritual person, you have read the Bible, and you read about that, and then you look at a lot of these targeted individuals, it's a very similar scenario. And they hung him on the cross. And they say that God gave his only begotten Son for our sins. And a lot of people are being hung on the cross, so to say, right now, for everybody to see. Because this is coming out through YouTube, through all kinds of different websites, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media. You know, back in the day, they didn't foresee the internet being invented, and that's what cracked a lot of this open. People being able to communicate. You know, the Tower of Babel, I believe, was the story, had something to do with, they were building a tower to the heavens. I should just not even tell that story, I don't know enough about it. But basically, we speak all these different languages, so we can't communicate with each other. People are starting to be able to communicate now. Use the internet, use apps that will allow me to speak with somebody that doesn't speak my language in a conversation right next to each other, and we can share information. And that's happening. People are horrified at what's going on. They did not see that coming. And that's what's helped a lot of us. Now a lot of people are being shadow banned on social media, they're being blocked, they're being thrown in prison, they're being thrown in mental institutions. They're finding different ways to silence these different people. And unfortunately, that's the situation I'm in right now. And I have been for a long time. I just didn't know about the whole program and all this stuff, what was going on, until halfway through, just about halfway through last year. About May of last year is when it really, really got real for me. And all of you that are listening to this need to share this information. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen. You can't, because it's going to ruin your life later if you don't do something now. Too many people are complacent, have cognitive dissonance. Somebody posted in the comments how I say that, I forgot. But you need to wake up. You need to put the word out. You need to share this information with friends and family, and do some research on your own. Independent media websites. Social media, different things like that. Because if people do not do something about this now, the president can't do it on his own. You need to do something to help. I need to head inside. It's getting a little warm. I got this suit on. I'm sitting in my car right now, which usually is where I'm doing my videos, because I try to time manage the best I can, and talk to you all while I'm driving, so I can try to run my business while I'm home and take care of all the other things I need to take care of in life, and try to keep it as normal as possible for my kids, so they have at least part of a normal life. They don't always hear me talking about this stuff or being antagonized, things like that. So, you know, that's why I sit in my car and do this, or why I'm driving and I speak to you all, so I can time manage, multitask. And it's tough, but I am starting to sweat. I need to get out of here. I hope this information was good for you, and I really, really, truly mean this when it's up to you to do something.